Hello again and welcome to another Nick Beck's Watch Reviews. As you can see in front of you here, I have a new Lorus chronograph. This is a reissue. I believe I was told it's an RAF chronograph, so it's kind of like a sports pilot type watch. It's a reissue of an old Seiko, so I'm told, but please put comments in the box if you know better than I do, because it's only a rumour. Obviously we know that Seiko is Lorus's big daddy, which actually makes it pretty cool because Lorus watches are the kind of, let's say, lower branch of the Seiko corporation, therefore they are a lot cheaper. And this one I picked up on Amazon for $59.99, which is pretty incredible value for a 100-meter water resistance quartz Seiko movement chronograph in all stainless steel with a rather attractive silver NATO. Before I start on the watch, let me just say thanks to all my existing subscribers, to all my new subscribers, thanks to Duncan the Time Bombardier, and I keep forgetting to mention, sent me this lovely little package with some goodies in. Thanks to Bricktop for ever supporting my channel. Check out his channel, he's got some great stuff on it, and his dog is just to die for. She's absolutely gorgeous, so do check out his channel. So without further ado, let me just show you the hang tag of this one and give you some specs. So it's the RM349JX9. This one's 42mm case. Lug to lug is 48. It has a depth of approximately 12.5mm, and the bandwidth on this one, the strap width, is a 22 on this, like I say, rather nice silver NATO. So let me bring it up to the camera and show you around the watch. So as you can see, we've got a very nice black dial, and it's kind of a matte dial, but it's just really nicely executed. You've got your chapter ring round the side with your minute and second tracks. You've got 1 to 11 with the 6. There's a little icon, I guess, and then at the top, the 12 o'clock, you have the pilot style triangle. Like I say, you've got your 3 subdials for your chronograph. Chronograph is very easy to operate. It's simply the old-fashioned style, and you just top button starts the chronograph, and this has got 1/10 of a second, so you can see the top dial spinning around there, and the 9 o'clock dial will count the minutes, and the 6 o'clock dial counting the seconds. So just hit the top button again, that stops, and then we know how to reset by popping that one back. And it's not a mecha quartz, this one, because it doesn't fly back, it gradually kind of feeds back, which is I actually prefer. Because the great thing, the difference between this and mecha quartz, if the hands are slightly misaligned, you can actually adjust the hands on these. With mecha quartz you can't. I didn't know if you knew that, but I certainly found out. You've got Lorus printed on the dial there at 3 o'clock with chronograph 10 bar, 100 meters water resistance. The frame date at 3 o'clock, and as you can see, it's actually white on black, so it's really clear and really easy to see. You've got fairly broad, I'd say these are a kind of sword-like hands. You have loom on each of the indices 1 to 11, obviously minus the 6 and the 12, which are digits if you like. And you have a seconds track and a counter of seconds from 60 all the way back round to 55 and then to 60 again. You've got a white moving second hand, which is really quite nice because this is not a subdial second hand, it's actually the proper broad second hand, which I really like, and it seems to hit the indices really well. And what's nice about this one, I think it's perfectly a perfect length. It actually hits the minute track pretty well, and I like that. It kind of gives the watch a nice symmetry. Moving round to the case, as you can see, you have polished edges all the way round, polished lugs, polished all the way round, and then just on the top surfaces you can see it's a pretty fine brushing and it's typical of Seiko. They really know how to do this well. It's got that real sort of stainless steel look about it, and I really like that. So this one come on a silver NATO, and let me just flip him open to show you. Again, it's a 20mm, sorry, beg your pardon, 22mm lug on this one. If I can just open her up, and it's a really nice NATO on this. It's really nice. If there's one tiny thing, one tiny criticism I'd say, it's just a fraction short. It fits my wrist pretty well, and I'll post up some wrist shots and obviously some loom shots, but it's just a tad short. It could have been, you know, maybe an inch or inch and a half longer would have been, you know, that would have probably suited it a little bit more, just to kind of go for the slightly bigger wrists. And bearing in mind this is a 42 case, so it probably wears better on a slightly bigger wrist, although I've got 6.5, I think, wrists, and it works really well on mine. You have a brushed hardware on the NATO straps, and what I do is I should just stop the camera for a second because I'd like to show you the back of this one. There we go. So you've got your Lorus and the famous wave, which is very similar to the Seiko wave, brushed or concentric, is that brushing on the back, so it's not a high polish, so it doesn't scratch really obviously. You know, I'm sure this one in time will scratch. You've got your movement, stainless steel, movement Japan, water resistance 100 meters, so you know it's a pretty good swimmer, this one, and it's a screw case back. It's mineral glass on this one, so unfortunately don't get a sapphire, but then for £60, you know, what would you expect? And to be fair, I know this is Seiko Hardlex glass, and I've had tons of these. I baby my watches a bit, I do look after them, but to be fair, I don't ever really recall having a scratch done easily on my Hardlex crystal. I had a Seiko Monster years ago, and that seemed to scratch pretty easily, but then I guess, you know, Seiko have come a long way with their Hardlex, so you know it's good enough for me, and I think it's really good enough for £60. So like I say, it's on a NATO. You can easily swap this out for either a different NATO, or you could put it on a leather strap, even a rubber strap. And I actually kind of fancy buying another one of these and putting on a Milanese mesh, because I think that would really set the watch off. So let me show you. I've got a Spectre NATO strap. Let me show you it on there, and just give you an idea of how easy it is to swap these things out. There you go. So that's it on a Spectre NATO, and as you can see, it really pops. It really works well, I think, with that one. I'd like to get the later No Time to Die with a kind of slightly pink stripes and see how that works, but I certainly think this one is a cracker. I mean, this one was literally, you know, £10 from Amazon or eBay, I can't remember, but it certainly works really well with this watch. So there you go. So just a little one. You've got a highly polished crown, highly polished buttons there. And like I say, everything else is brushed and polished, and it's typically very well done, typical of Seiko and Lorus, unlike my camera that keeps going out of focus. So anyway, thank you for watching my review. Like I say, I'm trying to keep them under 10 minutes now, so I don't ramble and bore anybody. But I know that anybody into watches will probably forgive me of that. So thanks everybody. Have a great day. Thanks again for watching, and I will catch up with you again soon.